Namo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for a daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The third mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to cultivate responsibility and learn ways to protect the safety and integrity of individuals, couples, families, and society. I'm determined not to engage in sexual relations without love and a long-term commitment. To preserve the happiness of myself and others, I'm determined to respect my commitments and the commitments of others. I will do everything in my power to protect children from sexual abuse, to prevent couples and families from being broken by sexual misconduct. Our Dharma reading this morning is the summary of a chapter on ill will from Ajahn Thiradhammo's book, Working with the Five Hindrances. Initially, we need to be mindful when there is ill will. For some people, that is already quite a big step. How easy is it for you to acknowledge your ill will? Of course, it's quite normal, even instinctive, to be defensive. We acknowledge ill will, and then, with some collectedness and clarity, we follow it back to the unpleasant feeling tone. What aspect of myself is being hurt? Maybe it's some aspect of my pride that is being hurt right now. That's why I'm feeling irritated. Well, is that something to be encouraged, to preserve and hang on to? Developing friendliness is a practice which can alter our whole attitude to reality. It opens our hearts to all aspects of life in an entirely new way. It's not just opening our hearts to the things we like, but also to the things we were pushing away, denying, rejecting. The ultimate test of opening the heart, as one teacher has suggested, is to be able to keep your heart open in hell. It's very easy to keep your heart open in heaven, and you have to work at keeping your heart open in the human realm. But the real test is keeping your heart open when you're in hell, when you expose the hidden hurt in your heart. We say that psychologically you're in hell. Can you keep your heart open then? Keep the friendliness flowing. If you can keep with it, keep working at it, developing it, life's unpleasantness can become transformed. Maybe someday you will be amazed that you don't become so overwhelmed by ill will. You don't get so irritated, so angry at things. Those emotions seem to have just faded away, or at least are much reduced. You notice a shift in your attitude to difficult things. Sometimes it's hard to see. Maybe only afterwards do you notice, hey, I don't get so upset anymore. I don't get so frustrated. I don't get so resentful. However, don't be surprised if the attitude changes. Sometimes we can be in a very upbeat mood and friendliness begins to really flow from us. At other times, the mood shifts, and it's really hard work. Life can give us a lot of homework. We can cultivate friendliness just as a mother relates to her only child. It's like an instinct which we all have within us. We just have to access it more often. So hopefully, if we continue to cultivate it, we will transform those old attitudes from defensiveness and rejecting pain to more openness and friendliness, and be able to clear out our attic of unprocessed pain. Eventually, we may be able, sometimes, to arrive at unconditional love. And some people say that unconditional love is the same as awakening. When there is no self blocking the way, that is when boundless love can really function. Non-self is unconditional truth. It starts off in small ways, just being able to be more friendly to ill will and our particular hurts that trigger it, physical, emotional, mental. But as we begin to understand how this process is working, it becomes transformed into a whole new attitude. We can never defend the self. We can try all we want, but we can never defend it because it is a non-existent thing. It does not exist in essence. It's like defending a shadow. Have you ever tried to defend your shadow? So we start with self's ill will reaction to pain, open it up with friendliness. Once we begin to see it working, we have confidence that there is a more skillful way of being, and those old habits become increasingly transformed into receptive expansiveness towards an ever-broadening reality. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me today.